So when you configure WordPress to work properly for SEO purposes and human visitors, one of the first things you should think about are tags and categories. In this video we'll talk about tags, in the next video we'll talk about categories. Just a special note, you can create tags and categories on the fly when you're writing posts, but you can also do them ahead of time. I suggest that you do them ahead of time for the bulk of them, because that way you'll then be able to optimize your blog posts or your posts by keyword. Okay, so let me just show you on the WordPress site itself. When you go to posts, see how there are categories and there are tags. I haven't set anything up for this website yet, so you're going to walk along with me. So the first thing we want to talk about is tags. So think of tags in this way. When you get a piece of mail, and it's a bill, say for example, and let's say it's a magazine subscription to National Geographic, you may file that bill in your filing cabinet once you've paid it as a magazine subscription. That would be your category. You would further file that in a subfolder as a National Geographic subscription, and that would be your tag. So tags are more granular than categories. Categories are more broad-based. So for example, in the online world, if you're talking about internet marketing, you may say, list building is a category, whereas an autoresponder sequence post is going to be tagged with whatever keywords you might have in that post. But you would file it as a category, list building, and as a tag might be autoresponder, Aweber, iContact, 6 ways to build your list. It's a much more granular way to categorize things. Tags are, and it's a great way to help potential visitors find your content, because that may be exactly how they type in a search string. So think in those terms as well. If I want to find out how to lose 20 pounds in a month, I may type in to the Google search engine, how can I lose 20 pounds in a month? Now, being the smart internet marketer that you are, you may write a post that's titled how to lose 20 pounds in a month. You may tag that with many tags, but one of your tags might be how to lose 20 pounds in a month. On the other hand, you may put that in a category of lose weight or lose weight fast. Does that make sense? Okay. So in order to add tags, we just type in here. So first we go to posts, then we go to post tags. Then in the add new tag name field, you would add your tag. So since this is the ultimate guide to WordPress, tag might be how to configure WordPress. I might write a post about that. And then all I really need to do, you can fill in the slug. The slug will just be really a concatenation of these words with hyphens. And then you can put a description in there, but it's not necessary. Okay, add new tag. Watch over here what happens. Here's your new tag. If I were to go make a post by adding new, I could go down here, write my title, write my content. I would always choose a category, and we'll go over that in the next video. And then I can click on this link to choose from the most used tags. Because I haven't really used any tags, it really won't matter. But I could type in here how to configure and then it pops up for me because I've already typed it in. Oops. And then just click add, and when you're done creating your content, you click publish. You're done. That's all there is to tags. So think of tags as a more granular categorization or way to describe your content to a potential visitor, especially a visitor through a search engine. Okay? Thanks. Real briefly, we'll go over categories because I kind of talked about categories and tags in the last video. But categories are really just kind of a simple way for you to categorize or group your posts in your WordPress site. So again, using the filing cabinet analogy, if you get a bill in the mail and it's a magazine subscription and it's for National Geographic, you may file that bill in your magazine subscriptions category, and you may tag it as National Geographic. So that's it. What you do to create a category is go back over to posts, choose categories, type in a name, and for this, the Ultimate Guide to WordPress, we could do it this way. Configuration, and then you don't need to do anything here really. You can add a new category. Now you see the configuration is here. If I wanted to put a category underneath configuration, I could do this and say tags, right? And see how tags kind of nestles in under configuration per this right here. So let's go create a post by clicking on add new. We'd enter a title, we'd enter content, and if we were talking about tags, we could do that, and then we could put post tags of tags, how to logically tag your posts, etc., etc. Click add, see how the tags are added. When you're done, click on publish, and you're all set. Alright, thanks. Okay, so the next step in configuring WordPress is actually to go to the settings in your WordPress dashboard. And there are 7 general categories of settings in that dashboard. So let's go take a look. So go down here, you're in your dashboard, go to settings, and you see general, writing, reading, discussion, media, privacy, permalinks. And as you add plugins, you may or may not get new setting links underneath your settings. So just FYI on that. But these are the default 7. So let's start on general. So you see your site title. That is the most important thing you can set on your website is your title. The second thing you can set here is your tagline. Okay, basically a little bit better description of what your website is about. Think in terms of keywords. In some themes, your tagline is appended to your title, such that when you look at your website way up here, the title you give your website as well as the tagline you give your website will all be up here in this upper bar. Some themes work like that, some themes don't. It's always a good idea to put something descriptive in here. If you want to save yourself a lot of grief, don't ever change these 2 entries right here. Put in an email address that you use and visit frequently. As a general rule of thumb, under membership, always check the box anyone can register, and then make the new user default role subscriber. You could make them an administrator, but that's dicey because now they have control of your website, and they can add plugins, they can delete plugins and content and all sorts of stuff. But if you make them a subscriber, you're okay. Change your time zone so that it's appropriate to where you live. Date format is fine. This is how the date's going to appear on your blog posts. Time format, different countries have different customs. Here in America, this is the way we do it typically, but sometimes we do it with an uppercase, sometimes with a lowercase. This is your standard military time, and you can also customize it. You can also say your week starts on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all the way through Saturday. Typically, we start our business week on Monday, so that's what we call the start of our week. When you've got everything set there, click Save Changes, and you're done. We'll move on to the next thing. So the next step in configuring WordPress in your settings is under the writing category. Let's go take a look at that. We're going to fiddle with the settings, press this, post via email, remote publishing, and update services. So let's go take a look. So here we're in writing, and here are a few tweaks that I make. In the size of the post box, I always change it to about 27 because that fits my screen best, and that's the size that your post will appear in as you're writing it. I always leave these as default. All this stuff is default. Press this link you can drag up into your bookmarks, and it's pretty neat when you're surfing the web and you see some content that you want to blog about. You can just go to that website, copy some stuff, click the press this button, and you've got a blog post. I never post via email. I just don't do it. It's too much of a hassle. However, I do a lot of remote publishing through a Firefox add-on called ScribeFire, and you can just look it up. So I click both of these. That enables remote publishing. And then the most important part here is in update services, I delete that, and I go over here to my ping list, which I'm going to give to you as part of the package. Copy that, paste that in there, and save changes. And that's it for the writing settings. Okay, so the next step in configuring WordPress as far as the settings go is the reading setting. And let's go take a look at that. So if you're in your dashboard, go to settings, go to reading, and there's not a lot to configure here, so we'll make this pretty quick. You can choose to have your WordPress website act like a blog or as a regular website. If you want it to act like a blog, keep the default, your latest posts as the front page displays option. If you want to treat it like a blog, like a static website, click this radio button, choose a front page. It could be a squeeze page, it could be your intro page, it could be what we would consider your home page or your landing page. And then your post page, what you do is you make a page called blog. Don't put any content in it, just publish it. Come back here, choose this radio button, choose blogs under here. There will be an entry under here called blog, and then choose a landing, a front page, and then move on. Blog pages show at most 10 posts. I keep that default. Syndication feeds show the most recent 10 items. I keep that at default. For each article in a feed, show full text or summary. You can do either one. There are two schools of thought. To give customers what they really want, or to give visitors what they really want, I typically just keep this at the default, which is full text. However, if you want people, or you're encouraging people to subscribe to your RSS feed, but you want them to visit your blog regularly, choose summary. That way, whenever they get their news feed, they'll see something. You've got to write a good title and a good introductory, opening sentence, and that's what they'll see. If they like what they see, they'll click on the link to go to your blog. So, encoding for pages and feeds, I don't change anything here. Click Save Changes, and you're done. Next up in configuring WordPress under the settings option is the discussion topic. So let's go there and take a look. So go to Settings, Discussion, and again, a lot of these defaults are perfect. I don't change much, but I just want to go through each one of these kind of briefly and talk about it a little bit. So under default article settings, attempt to notify any blogs linked to from the article. That's cool. That's like a ping back. Allow link notifications from other blogs. Oh, ping back. Okay, that's cool. Allow people to post comments on new articles. That's perfectly fine. Other comment settings. This is where we might change a thing or two. Comment author must fill out name and email. I always make sure that's checked. Users must be registered and logged in to comment. If you check this box, you're going to get less comments and less interactions. So I would choose to keep that unchecked. Automatically close comments on articles older than 14 days. I would say that if you have a very busy, high traffic blog or website, you could check this, but otherwise you're going to find people, want to comment on a blog post or on a page, from a year ago. Enable threaded comments, that's fine. I never break comments into pages because I never get that many comments. If you have that many comments, awesome for you. I do like to have emails whenever somebody posts a comment and whenever a comment is held for moderation. And that kind of impacts or follows from this next setting, which is before a comment appears, I always check an administrator must always approve the comment, and comment author must have a previously approved comment. Otherwise, that comment goes into moderation, and then I get an email that says, hey, there's a comment here, you need to moderate it, you need to approve it or decline it or call it spam or trash it. So that's that. Comment moderation. Hold a comment in the queue if it contains, I always say, one or more links. This is usually a telltale sign that if somebody puts within their comment a URL, they're spamming you. Okay. When a comment contains any of these words in its content, name, URL, email, or IP, it will be held in the moderation queue. One word or IP per line. So you could put, curse words in here, typical bad language. You could put that and put one word per line. I don't usually use this comment blacklist. However, there have been occasions where I've needed to block somebody from making comments, and I don't even want them to go to moderation, or I don't even really want to look at them. So if I know their email address or their URL or their IP address or even their name, I can put that in here. Again, one word or IP per line. As far as avatars go, I don't really care. I don't change any of this stuff, and then I click Save Changes. That's all there is to that. Okay, the next step in configuring WordPress under settings is media. Let's go there. So we go to settings and then media, and there's really not a lot to change here, but the one thing you do change, you're going to want to change it. So I keep everything at default. If you're a professional photographer or something like that, you're probably going to use a gallery plugin like NextGen or something like that. So you really never have to worry about any of this kind of stuff. But what you do want to change is, see this checkbox right here? How it's enabled and it says organize my uploads into month and year-based folders? Don't do that. Uncheck that. It's going to give you better search engine optimization results. It's going to get you better rankings in the search engines for your images. And you know what? When people search for stuff online, they don't really care when you uploaded it. They just care what it is and how they can get it. So then click Save Changes, and that's it. Okay, the next step that you want to take in configuring your WordPress settings is privacy. And this is a really brief one as well. And by default, it's usually turned on the right way, but you always want to make sure that this is turned on the right way. So let's go to our dashboard and settings and privacy. And you want to make sure that the radio button that says I would like my site to be visible to everyone, including search engines like Google, Bing, Technorati, and archivers. You want to make sure that that is enabled, just like it is by default. There was a time when this was not the default. This was the default. But now the WordPress folks have probably got enough complaints that, hey, you know what, my site is never getting indexed and I'm never finding it in the search engines. It's because you had it made private. because this was checked by default. So if you know that's checked, I would like my site to be visible to everyone. Go ahead and click Save Changes, and you're done. The next step in configuring WordPress settings is your permalinks, and this one is extremely important to get right. It's important for search engine optimization or SEO purposes especially. So let's go take a look, and I'll tell you why I suggest that you change your permalinks to this particular setting that I'm about to tell you. So you're in your dashboard, go to Settings, choose Permalinks, and by default WordPress sets your permalink at this post ID number, which is great from a database perspective and from like a server and retrieval perspective, but it's horrible from an SEO perspective, as are the next three options. Day and name, it's better than the first. Month and name is, again, better than the first, but it's not ideal. Numeric is just as bad as the first. So we always choose a custom structure. And the custom structure is as follows. It is slash, parentheses, post name, not parentheses, percentage sign, post name, percentage sign, hyphen, percentage sign, post underscore ID, percentage sign, and forward slash. Let me tell you the reasoning. First of all, from an SEO perspective, search engine optimization perspective, the search engines really like it when your URL contains your keywords. It's been proven time and time again, and it's further been proven that your keywords towards the front end of the URL is better than your keywords at the back end of the URL. So the closer you can get your keywords, which in this case is your post name, because hint hint, as you name your posts, you're thinking of the keywords that you want to target, and you're using those keywords in your post. So that post name becomes your post title, which becomes your permalink, or at least part of your permalink. Now, the part after the hyphen, the post ID, that is to help us and to help WordPress figure out when we make a duplicate post, and by duplicate I mean it has the same post name. For example, I do this all the time. I may write an article that's called, 6 ways to increase your email list size. And then 6 months later, I'll write another post that has exactly the same title, different content, but the same title. Now, if I gave both of them the same title and I did not have this permalink structure, let's say, for example, I just had post name, WordPress would get a little confused. And it wouldn't really know what to do with that as far as assigning a permalink. It would actually just assign a permalink post name -2 if I made another one -3 if I made another one -4. In this case, what it does is it takes that post ID, which is inherent to the WordPress database that's on the back end that you rarely ever see, and it uses that post ID. Same difference, but this is a much better custom permalink structure from an SEO perspective for your website. Then click Save Changes, and you're done.